Namaste, I am Dr. Nirlepa. I am here to represent Mahasiddha Vaidya Chikitsalayam, MSVC. MSVC is not only a clinic which treats the physical ailments, it is based on the philosophy which has its roots deep into one of the ancient yogic traditions called the Mahasiddha tradition. All the healing and spiritual traditions of Bharat are based on Sanatana Dharma, that is the law of truth. This law of truth governs and maintains the harmony and sustains higher development. The rishis, the ancient seers, controlled their senses and mind, tuned their smriti to Shruti, and understood the relation and the interrelation between the visible spectrum and the invisible spectrum. They also perceived the governing laws which govern these spectrums. If I am not clear in any point, please do let me know so that we can either translate in the language or I can repeat the same point just to make it clear. Yeah. So now let us once understand what is the visible spectrum and what is the invisible spectrum. Visible spectrum is the spectrum which is made up of the 5 elements. In Sanskrit, it is called Pancha Bhutas, 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air and space. This whole creation is made of these 5 elements in different ratios. The invisible spectrum is the governing principle of these 5 principles, these 5 elements.
Recording in progress.
So now,
So the visible spectrum is made up of 5 elements, and the invisible spectrum is the spectrum which governs these 5 elements. It generates, operates and destroys these elements. Let us take an example of any living being. For example, if we take a rat, the physical form which we see is made up of the 5 elements. The functions it does, the movement it has, everything is sustained by the invisible spectrum. When this life force behind the rat is withdrawn, the rat physical form starts decaying. This shows that the life force or this invisible spectrum sustains the physical spectrum. So it plays a very vital role in maintaining our daily life. Any doubts which I need to clear? Or am I clear with the words of visible, invisible and the transition? Right. Any doubts? Hopefully. Okay. We all might have pondered many times, what is the purpose of our life? Why are we here? What is the purpose of life? Why are we born? Vedas always gave the purpose of life as Jiva Brahmaikya. Jiva Brahmaikya. The word Jiva means individual self. Every living being has an individual self. Brahma in simple terms can be explained as universal self, which is higher than the individual self. Yogis and rishis laid a path to unite this individual self into the higher self. This process is called Jiva Brahma Aikya. The path given is yoga, and the principles to follow on this path are called Yoga Sutras. Thus, yoga is the science of self-realization. Now, in order to attain this self-realization, we need healthy body, healthy mind, a positive spirit to lead this body and mind into the self. Here the importance of Ayurveda comes. Thus the rishis laid importance to Ayurveda. By Ayurveda, I do not mean the treatment, medical treatment which we all know that happens in the regular basis. Ayurveda is the science of life. It mainly aims in the restoration of the wholeness to inner self so that we can attain the higher self. It helps us to give the optimal health and makes our body and mind ready for the yogic quest. So, we have seen the purpose of life and importance of yoga and Ayurveda. Thus, we understand that Ayurveda and yoga are the integral parts of each other and they together help to serve the purpose of our life. Ayurveda has many sets, many types of teachings. One of the teaching is Ayurveda Hrudaya, which means the essence or the core principles of Ayurveda. This was discoursed to us by Aswini Devatas, that is the divine physicians. Hence it is called Aswini Prokta. There are 27 core principles which mainly explains this this Ayurveda Hrudaya. The first principle starts from Ekam, that is one cell, omnipotent cell, for example. And then the 27th principle explains about the evolution of amino acids. In philosophically, we can understand the nakshatras. The nakshatras are related to the amino acids in our body. Mahasiddha Vaidya Chikitsalayam treatment and therapeutic principles based on basically these 27 main core principles. We have already gone through the purpose of our life, that is to attain the higher self, and the importance of Ayurveda. Ayurveda is necessary to maintain the harmony between the body, mind and spirit. By this we can easily attain the higher self. So now let us try to understand more about Ayurveda. Shall I continue?
It's very
Good.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Translation is okay? 50%.
That's why.
No, everybody, when you get one laugh, the translation is wrong. Means everybody understood. Okay. Higher self was translated with sales. So everybody laughed because everybody understands higher self.
Okay, so as we have already discussed about the visible spectrum being composed of the 5 major elements, that is the earth, water, fire, air and space, Ayurveda categorizes in the physical form these 5 elements into 3 vital principles, that is Vata, Pitta and Kapha. So these elements are combinations of the Tridoshas are the combination of these elements. Vata is the combination of air and space element. Pitta is majorly the fire element. Kapha is the combination of water and earth element. In physical level, these 3 vital principles play a very important role and governs many functions of the body. Vata, in simple terms, is the principle of momentum. Any movement of hands, movement of nerve impulses from one nerve to another nerve, Vata is responsible. Pitta is the transformative principle. the metabolic principle. We always understand metabolism as the breaking down into the simpler molecules. But Pitta is a transformative principle. That is, there is continuously a change of state in our body. We may or may not be aware of it. Just to get absorbed and assimilated by all kinds of cells and all kinds of particles in our body, there is continuous transmission and changes of state. And for this, principle of Pitta is very necessary. That's what the Pitta mean, the principle of metabolism. Kapha is the principle of secretions. Hyposecretions, hypersecretions, regulation of all the functions depends on the secretions. It can include the neurotransmitters, the endocrinal system, the hormones, etc. So, Vata, Pitta, Kapha are at the body level. These are again connected with the mind with three gunas. Guna means quality. Three qualities, majorly divided into three qualities. That is Sattva, second quality is Rajas, third is Tamas. Sattva is creative principle. Whenever there is a new thought which comes into the mind, new emotion takes place in the mind, is Sattva. It is very subtle and soft. Pitta is, Rajas Guna is comparison and passion, the drive of the creative principle to put in a specific direction is deal with Rajoguna. Tamoguna is resistance. Now the word resistance is very tricky word. Resistance means it should resist the negative changes. At the same time, we should be ready for the transformation. So the positive quality of Tamoguna, the positive quality of this Tamoguna is to resist the negative influences. And the positive quality of Rajoguna is to change along with the change that takes place in the universe. I would like to explain again. We have dealt with three principles of mind: Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Sattva is the creative principle. New thoughts, new emotions or anything which starts the creation is the Sattva Guna. Rajoguna is the directional force of the Sattva Guna. In the right direction, when the creative thought is made, it goes into the manifestation. Otherwise, we are always in the thoughts only. We never manifest what we think or what we feel. That manifestation energy is from Rajoguna. While we manifest, there is always the influences which come towards ourselves, like it can be positive or it can be negative influences. So the resistance to the negative influence is the Tamoguna. Every guna has the positive and the negative qualities, which will be explained as we proceed further. Is the three gunas clear? I hope. So the three doshas of the body are again in relation with the three gunas. Vata more related to Sattva Guna, Pitta more related to Rajoguna, Kapha more related to Tamoguna, positive qualities. Now, the human is not made up of a single dosha or a single dominating dosha. We are always a combination of doshas. Our combination is determined at the time of our conception. At the time when our mother and father conceive the sperm and the egg, that determines the state of the tridosha state of the sperm and the egg. The mind state of mother and father determines our constitution to maximum extent. That is called our internal constitution or prakruti, our nature.